Welcome to B-Movie Review,
where we review bad movies from the 80s and 90s.
Where we watch, we critique, we cringe, and reimagine how they will be a better movie for a modern-day theatrical release. This week, we're reviewing The Barbarians, which came out March 20th, 1987. This movie got a 5 out of 10 rating, and this movie is pretty bad, but it's really fun to watch. It's really funny.
It's funny bad. The budget for this film was $2.5 million.
Yeah, and it made $800,000 in the theaters.
It lost money. First, we're gonna watch the trailer.
Yay!
No, get out! I'm going out! I'm going! Guys. The Barbarians.
That was funny.
These trailers go hard.
Yeah, for bad movies, they're not bad trailers. The Barbarians starts off with like some kind of moving circus.
A circus on wheels?
Yeah, and like they're all doing their little tricks, and they all look weird. There's midgets, weird people, wizards, and then they get invaded by this king's knights, and then they start. The movie just totally just switches. It goes from like a little circus rodeo thing to just medieval Mad Max. The weapons in this movie, they look like the rubber toys from like Party City.
It's like one hit and they're dead. The
king's army, they just like
they were attacking.
They were attacking them. Try to kill all of them so they can get to the barbarian queen because she has a ruby that they want.
She has a ruby that's very valuable to them, and she doesn't want them to get it, so she gives it to one of the guys, and then he jumps off and leaves.
After that scene, they got ambushed by the king. He went up to the wagon. He started messing around with the people in there. He started wiggling his freaking sword around, and he was just like being goofy. He's not even threatening.
He was just taunting them.
Yeah, he's not even threatening. He was just like wiggling his sword around, and then he was like, two of the girls, he was like pretending that he was gonna like just swing the sword at him, and then finally he stabs one of them, and out of all the girls he was like taunting to kill, he kills the most beautiful one.
After he stabs one of the girls, one of the kids got off the wagon and got really defensive, and you know what he did? He bit his finger off.
He bit two of his fingers off. Like how does he even fit two of the fingers in his mouth? And then he just like he takes them off easily.
So of course he gets mad, he was all crying, he was like, kill those kids, and then
the barbarian queen says, no, they're just little kids, like just spare them. And then
why should I?
She was gonna offer that she would just be a slave to him and that she would do anything he wants. He was like, anything? And she was like, yeah, sure, why not? He promised that he wasn't gonna kill the kids, but that he was gonna make the kids kill each other. So the king takes everybody back to his little pad, and all those guards are taking him through the gate. Darth Vader makes a little cameo appearance in this movie. Not only does he roam across the galaxy far, far away, but he's in the lands far, far BC. The king goes out, he sits on his throne, and then some witch lady comes out of nowhere, and she has a freaking everything everywhere all at once bagel on her hair. And she meets these kids, and then she's like asking them which one bit the king's fingers off, and they both said, me. I don't know. She freaking crushed his fingers and then like blew like the dust on them. She started saying some voodoo stuff, and then she started like just covering them with spider webs, and like I think she was trying to freeze them. I don't know, because like they were trying to like be frozen in place, but it's just the acting is so bad. Like they're kind of like moving a little bit, and then after that she's basically telling them that they're gonna train so they can kill each other later on.
So then they take these kids to the training camps and make them slaves. They're whipping them, making them do all kinds of crazy
carrying big rocks, big boulders.
And like then, they rebel. And
yeah,
they rebel over them, so they get punished.
Every single time they're doing a task, they're rebelling against the guards. And it's so funny because they just have no facial expressions when they're getting whipped, which I think is funny. They're kids. So when they're getting whipped, they're not like crying or anything or just making any facial expression. Yeah. And then there's this ugly dude that's just making weird, goofy noises. After all that happened, I'm gonna say like in the span of like the next 15 years, maybe like 15 years, they get super buff and they're just all oiled up. They're just ready to go. And over this 15 years, they're just so angry and they're just so filled with like hate that they forgot they were brothers in the first place. So the guards are preparing them for them to have a fight. They put their helmets on, and when they get into the battle, it's like this little skinny arena, and everyone is just like sticking their hands into there, like cheering for them. Chops one of the spectators' hands off. Get into the fight, and they start swinging their swords, like that scene from Star Wars where Anakin and Obi-Wan were just, and then he just punched one of the guys. He punched his brother in the face because he's wearing a helmet, and the face piece falls off. He's like, it's his brother, and then he was just like,
Why you have my face?
why do you have my face? And then his other brother, he was just like, what are you, stupid? We're brothers. Do you not remember that? And just in the middle of a second, he was just like, he was basically like, oh yeah, the barbarian queen from earlier, and they thought that she was dead. So when they saw that she was alive, they came up with a quick plan to go try to save her, and they make a little diversion, and then they escape. Kutchek and Gore escape the arena that they were fighting in, and they retreat into this forest. And in this forest, they meet a girl that's behind a wooden cage, and she's like, hey, come help me. And then they look at each other and they're like, nah. His old tribe from like, what, 15 years ago, which everyone still looks the same except for like this big haired dude. He's like the only one that aged. So they come out of nowhere and they don't recognize them, obviously. So they capture them.
He's
and
like,
then
hang them. You have no proof. We do not care.
we do not care. Before they're gonna get hung, Gore jumps off the platform, so he hangs himself pretty much. And then he starts making weird freaking hippo noises. He's like, and then the rope around his freaking thick, meaty neck just breaks. And then he rolls over and he just starts laughing and he starts making those weird noises again. His brother does the same thing and he releases himself from the rope and then he jumps off too. So they finally realize that these barbarians are the twins that got taken from many years ago. The other prisoner started talking, saying that she can be released too, because she knows how to get weapons. They go meet him at his little like bar, and then a fight breaks out. Obviously, it can't be a bar scene with no fights. So they start doing a bunch of wrestling moves. The freaking they do the
Pile driver.
the tombstone pile driver, and then they're just like jumping off platforms and just
Throwing people off.
yeah. So after that, they get weapons. They leave.
After the bar scene, they go back to the palace to go find the queen.
And before they find the queen, they find the king's back dungeon. They go through the tunnel and they find the queen that was with them. And she recognizes that it's the twins, and then she tells them how to find the ruby and that it was hidden in the lime tree. After the queen told them where to find the ruby, Gore and Kutchek get distracted by all the women in the area, and then like boobies. And then he pulls them aside, and then finally they go find the ruby at the tree area. Once they arrive at the lime tree, they find a tomb full of weapons and armor, and they suit up and they start just being goofy. They goof around.
While they were doing that, the witch was on like the trail behind them, so she found the stone first. She got to the stone first.
And then she just started using the power, and then her henchmen that she brought with them, they got ambushed by the skeletons, but she didn't care. So she took the stone, and then the barbarians came out of the tomb, and then there was a dragon that just came out of the swamp, and they're like, yeah, we're not gonna fight this thing. So then there was a hole. They go inside the hole, and the girl that was with the barbarians, she kind of just distracted the dragon, and as the dragon was like going over the hole, the barbarians were just oh my gosh. When they were killing the dragon, it wasn't even like crazy or anything cool. They were just being goofy and they're stabbing the dragon. After they're stabbing the dragon, they went inside him and they saw that the witch that took the stone was dead.
She was dead in the dragon.
Yeah, and then
with the stone.
The barbarians took the stone, and then they were just on their way. It was just easy peasy lemon squeezy. That dragon was just nothing to them. The barbarians give the girl the stone so she can take it back to the tribe, and the barbarians went their separate way. And as the girl was going to the tribe, the scene cut back to the lime tree area where the king is also there, or he arrived there with the queen that was like his prisoner, and she used some kind of power that she had on him, and like he made his vision all hazy, and he just started like jabbing at her. He missed every like little swing until he finally got her. If the king finally kills her, and then when she starts dying, the ruby turns into stone, and
so it's useless.
So yeah, it's useless. And then when the girl arrives at the tribe, they find out that the main queen is dead, and then they found out that the gem can take on a new host, a new queen. So like, I guess the leader of the tribe was like, he was saying gather all the virgins, and then he was putting the stone in all the virgins' belly, and like it just didn't work. And then finally he was like, bring that girl over here, the one that brought the stone. And then she was like, no, I'm not. Yeah, it turns out it worked. And then just, I don't know where, she just switched up and she's like, yeah, I'm the queen. I was just like, what? Is she the queen or not? The barbarians, they meet the king.
And they had like this weird battle.
It was a slow battle. Like,
Slow battle, like
I think it had potential to be a good fight, but then like it just fell off after that. So he was debating them. Like after he was like kind of fighting them a little bit, he just turned around. He just faced his back at them, and then like the barbarians were they were confused. So they got closer to him, and he was kind of watching. And then he turned around and he did a whole freaking like just like yeah. I don't know. It was weird. It was weird. And I'm gonna just say, for a freaking however old he is, 65-year-old man, he's flexible AF. Yeah, he got like. He got them both with a little dagger, and I mean they're strong barbarians. They didn't really like affect him too much, but again, for an old person, he's pretty flexible. And after that, that's where everything falls apart. He has a crossbow in his hand, and he forgot his fingers are gone. So when he pulled the trigger, his fingers are gone. So he didn't get to pull the trigger. So the barbarians just threw their swords at him, and then he died.
And then dead. And they were on their way. Happy ending. Happy ever after.
Yeah, they went back to their little tribe, and then they just like they went back on their little circus cartwheel and rode off to the sunset
With the queen.
with their brand new queen.
So it had potential. It wasn't bad.
But it was bad.
No, it was bad, but it was funny bad.
Like it was pretty funny for like the first like 40 minutes of the film. It was just goofy, and then after that 40-minute mark, the story just kind of like made it a little bit confusing, and then it just dropped off after that. I think we're gonna give this film 2 headbangs out of 5. So
I did 3.
if we could remake this movie for today, I would keep the comedy, but like I would just keep it like kind of evenly flowing through the film instead of like the first 30-40 minutes. And then plus, like, some of the scenes kind of moved too fast, so it was confusing to know, like, what was happening. The part where they said that, like, they're gonna fight a dragon, where the queen said that there was a dragon and it's hard to kill or beat. 1, it looked like a worm, and 2, the dragon didn't seem menacing at all.
Yeah.
Obviously, this movie needs a bigger budget so it can make the dragon look like an actual dragon instead of some kind of swamp worm.
Just change the whole ending.
I think I would change, like, some of the scenes too. Like there's just, for an 80s film, there's a lot of boobies. I don't think like that would work today, especially today. Like that would get so much flack. So maybe like a I don't know, maybe like a strip pole dancing for like a little bit, and that's it. And then after that, just have it just, you know, the last 30 minutes of the film, have it like at least serious, take itself seriously. For the barbarians, like it kind of set off like it was already going to be a goofy film, but at least like kind of be serious, because like when they said that they had to go to the lime tree and then they have to gather the ruby, you would think it would be like a pretty serious moment, but not really. And then it moved pretty fast, so I would make that a little bit longer scene. It's a good movie for high.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
It was pretty funny until the end. It just slipped off. It fell off.
Yeah.